What's up, Summoners? Welcome back to another episode of Summoners War Chronicles Monster Spotlight. Today we have Sekhmet, the Fire Desert Queen. She's both beauty and beast. Let's go ahead and dive right on into her kit. Basic attack, don't need to worry. Now, her first ability strikes 3 times in an area, right? So it's not a perfect guarantee with the silence, but the fact that she has it is nice, and again, it's striking 3 times in an area. So even at max level with that 60% rate, you're generally going to get somebody in a group. However, that's not our main focus for her. Our main focus for Sekhmet is her second ability, which strips all buffs. Granted, if the target has no, before I forget, if the target has no buffs on them, that's when the silent works, as well as a 60% rate. Forgot to mention that, just doubling back there. But if they do have buffs, and a lot of enemies typically do, especially in PvP and dungeons and raids, she has a guaranteed, so long as you have the accuracy behind it, even starting at level 1 all the way up to level 7, to steal all buffs from the target. If she does manage to steal those buffs, she also applies a level 2 defense down for 20 seconds, which is fan-freaking-tastic. She works as a defense breaker, she works as a buff stripper, it's phenomenal, and it's very high damage. Her ultimate also steals all buffs. It does not apply that defense down, however. It does do a little bit more damage, and it is an area of effect type of buff stripping. So if you're facing multiple monsters, you have your ult up. If she's not souling, swap her quickly, pop that ult off, and then swap back to whoever you had. I've used her quite a bit. She's actually taken... Actually, that was Brandia. I use her mostly in PvP. I use Brandia a lot too, and out on the battlefield, you don't have time to distinguish between the two, especially when you just queue up and let her rip. No, but Brandia and Sekhmet both are just high DPS, nuke 'em, and the fact that Sekhmet has that level 2 defense down, it really complements Brandia's damage taken up. So not only are they taking the damage up from her, but they're also getting more damage because her defense has been broken. And for enemies like Cleef, who deal damage based on their defense, that really hurts their damage power too. So, she's going to be useful anywhere that has wind enemies. She's useful in your high-end raids for that buff stripping and defense down. And she's definitely useful in arena and battlefield. I use her all the time. The way I went with runes was, while I did focus accuracy, I felt like I could get the accuracy behind me without actually having to focus accuracy runes. Right, so I went with a Rage Blade, because while she is a ranged DPS, and I do often say, pump that attack speed, pump it, that's not really our primary focus. We want her to be able to do that strip. We want to make sure she can deal the damage behind her, so I went with a Rage Blade. And while her crit rate isn't exactly perfect, it's a 95, which I feel like is the bare minimum to really shoot for. She's got almost 100% added on crit behind her at 87.1. She could be doing a little more damage, but honestly, she's in a really good spot for me right now, especially with that 100% accuracy to help guarantee the stripping and the debuffing. Although, keep in mind that whereas accuracy and resistance both cap at 100%, you're never going to truly outweigh the resistance, and you're never going to truly be resistant to all debuffs and stripping. So keep that in mind. Nothing's ever going to be 100% absolute guaranteed because they put those caps in the game. Other than that, that's all I've got for her. So stay tuned for the next episode coming out soon. Take it easy. Y'all have a great day and stay frosty.